Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with the Overwatch Contenders Summer Series here for North America. I'm Hunter Tane. I'm here with Biscuits today, and today we've got a couple exciting games on our hands, both of them involving good boys, as their first match out is going to be against Amplify. Now, Biscuit. Now, we'll kind of go into depth on a couple of these teams here in a moment. But to kind of go into them a little bit, these are both teams that kind of haven't picked up a win quite yet. They had a couple of rough matches as of yesterday. They played the two matches on Mondays and two matches on Tuesdays. They do it on a 3-week rotation. So what I kind of want to talk about real quick is kind of like what it means for these teams right now that are going in both 0-2 that desperately need this win to start picking up a little bit of momentum.
Of course, of course. Look, here, I'm Biscuit. Hello. I will be casting alongside Hunter tonight. We have a couple, two games in a row, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll be here together for a while. And as you were talking about, these teams are down 0-2. Now, what it means, in my opinion, if Good Boys or Amplify, because if I'm not mistaken, both of them are playing twice today, are able to win, they're gonna have a really big chance to jump to the top of the leaderboard. Like, let's imagine a scenario in which Pirates in Pajamas, right? That the number one dominant team right now were to lose their two games in a row, then Good Boys gets up there and Amplify as well. So whatever happened yesterday, I think these teams have to just get over it. Like it happened, you lost. It's fine. It's contenders. Like honestly, if you're in contenders, if you lose, it's a given. It happens sometimes. Some of these players are just absolutely amazing at the game. So if they're able to get their maps up, even if they lose, they might even be able to like get up over some other teams. And you could call Good Boys right now the best of the worst when it comes to the teams. They've been doing good when it comes to it. One of their losses against Dragon Dance was really close in a 2-3, a really good set. And today they have the chance to get their score even alongside Timeless, 0-3, Pirates in Pajamas, Saints. So if Good Boys does well today, I feel like they have a chance to prove that they are better than what people might think. However, as we go into it, Amplify, Good Boys, same score. Let's not only talk about one of them. What you think about the players? Like they have a lot of history in contenders and with their current teams.
Yeah, definitely. Like we've definitely seen a lot of people, especially in Good Boys, that have played in a lot of contenders teams. If we want to talk about a couple people in particular, we have both Salty and Biz, who were both previously on Altiora. Altiora, a pretty, in my perspective, a rather well-liked team. I love watching them. They're a lot of fun. If we want to go over to make this a little more spicy, Noctis, who is famously playing the Brig a lot yesterday, was actually previously on Amplify. So this is kind of a little bit of a spicy match for them going up against one of their previous teams. And while that is exciting, we do have to look over at Amplify as there are a couple of pretty big names over there, particularly Tap and Doge. Tap now was previously on Redbird, which Redbird, as we all know, has been one of the strongest teams in pretty much, whether in contenders or collegiate, they have been one of the strongest teams, and Tap was definitely a good part of that while they were a part of Redbird. But the other name, and potentially in my most notable name, is Doge, who people may have seen most recently as they played for Denmark in the World Cup qualifiers, and then last year they were a part of the Houston Outlaws, the only person among these two teams that have been in the Overwatch League before. So they definitely have a certain level of experience that nobody else on this on Amplify or on Good Boys would have. So in my eyes, I think that gives them a relatively good advantage. And obviously, Doge is going to be starting off. Tap as well. We did see Tap a lot yesterday, massively popping off. Like, definitely a big part of the team. But as you said, they are 0-2. It was two tough losses, but they have that chance to turn it around today. And kind of the question I'm kind of looping back to again with these 0-2 teams is like, look, coming back into this match, you have a team that has a lot of experience. Two teams that have a lot of experience that you figure will be doing a little bit better than they actually are, and it's kind of a struggle to like be this low with players that are this good. And it's not to the fault of the players by any means. But I guess in your perspective, how can a team with a rather good amount of talent like start out 0-2 in the first place? Whether that's just the talent on the other teams is somehow better, or perhaps just like a lot of contenders teams, they haven't been together for a long amount of time. These are rosters that were posted, a week or two ago that have probably only existed for maybe a month or two. So I guess that's a pretty good thing to talk about. Is how does a team end up being 0-2 with that kind of talent?
I mean, as you were saying, individual skill can only get you so far. Like Doge, of course, if he's getting to the World Cup, if he's with Houston Outlaws, there's a level of skill that cannot be compared to most of these players, right? But like he can only get the team so far if they don't have the same amount of cohesion, in my opinion. Like Derpy, Carrots, Buddy, like all of these amazing players, they're thrown into like this new environment, playing with wildly new players, and it's also the beginning of like the season, right? They have a lot of things to adapt to. They have a lot of things to get through. Like this is still the group stage. This is well, sorry, like the Swiss tournament stage, I would say. A lot of things are gonna happen. Like your teams maybe they're not so used to how the comms go. They are not used to playing the same comms with each other. Some things match with their teams, like in Denmark World Cup, and some just don't. And individual skill also may be a little harder to compensate with if they're like small mistakes. And as we know, professional Overwatch is all about what team makes the less amount of mistakes. It's not about how good you play, because at this level, everyone's tapping heads in 2 seconds. At this level, the tank has the best rotation and the best callouts ever. So if you're a second behind and you don't make a rotation quickly, if you miss a singular shot, that might just swing the whole tide of the match. So we have to remember, these are extremely good players, and their 0-2 records do not take that away from them. Like those, you've seen them before. Some of these players again with Altiora, like Wisp being having Dusk in their roster, for example. Like Noctis got away from Amplify, for example. Maybe they just don't like the team. There's a lot of things that can happen. And right now, this is just the beginning of a very long tournament, and we're gonna be here for a while. So do not discard them. Do not take their loss as like, oh, these are bad teams. Oh, they are not making it out of like group stage nicely. There's a lot of things that can happen. However, as we go into the actual game with a lot of knowledge, thank you, Hunter Tane. It's really good knowing about these players. We're going into our first map, which is Ilios for this round of maps. So you'll see it on the next match. You'll see it on any other stream that you want to check out. And Ilios, a very, very volatile map, I would say. This map pool is dive. Like the name of the game is going to be Winston. The name of the game is going to be your Genjis, your Tracers, your Sombras. So supports, beware. You're in risk of dying at every step. But Hunter, what you think about this? Ilios, what are we gonna see around here?
You know what? We would have talked about that for a moment. We did see a little bit of the Doomfist yesterday from Good Boys, so I think there's a very high potential that we'll see that come out again. Just in my mind, I think Doomfist is a very fun character. But as you said, Ilios is very good for dive. A lot of these maps coming up are going to be very good for dive. But lately, a big part of the meta that we saw, especially in the World Cup, that we've seen in the first set of matches that happened yesterday, is this Winston Cup along with the Sombra and a Tracer, and then an Ana Brig in the backline. Specifically because the Ana and the Brig do a really good job of keeping each other up. It's one of the most stable backlines that could be isolated and keep each other up. And a lot of these teams have been running this backline as well. They'll typically either opt for this or something along the lines of Kiriko Lucio, because they're either looking for survivability or they're looking to rush and attack first. So I think personally we're going to be seeing more of that Brig Ana today, especially in a map like Ilios, where, especially if we talk about a map like Lighthouse, keeping control of that high ground is extremely important. So I think you want to have a backline that is able to defend themselves a little better instead of a Lucio and potentially a Kiriko, where once their cooldowns are taken out, they're kind of just effectively sitting ducks. So that's why I think we'll be seeing a lot of that Sombra Tracer comp here today.
Right, there's a lot of things that could change as the games go. Like Lighthouse, a lot of who can sit there and who can just not let them through. And then like you have like this one that looks like a garden, and there's like so many high grounds, there's low ground, there's like a health pack to the right side. There's so many things that are happen, and honestly, I think we're in for a banger of a game, and you don't want to miss it. Like contenders, the second that you blink, there's already 3 people diving. Genji's taking on his sword, Tracer's blinking across the map. The Winston's angry. There's so many things happening. But soon we will be going into it, and this is again reminding to the viewers at home, best of 5. So what this means is that we're either in here for a long time like yesterday, or we might be here for only 3 maps. And lately, this contenders group, I'm just gonna say it, 110, every team seems like they are matched perfectly against each other. So there haven't been many 3-0s. It's almost always 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, and that's what makes me so happy to be here, because you're not casting just teams that are not evenly matched. You know, just throwing themselves at each other and winning and winning and winning, even with troll comps. Like, this is everyone's playing because they know how important this is to them, and there's a lot on the line. So today we're gonna find out if if Amplified or Good Boys are making it out of, you know, this bad situation they are in, or if they're gonna be staying like this for a while. However, you know, control, hybrid, escort, push, control. So I hope that we make it all the way to the end, but we'll see what they do. And the Good Boys Amplify going into the first match.
Yep, as you see, we're going to be starting out here on Ruins. This is famously, compared to the other maps, this is a map that is really good for the poke, especially whether you want to run a Widow or an Ashe. That's definitely something that we can see. We definitely have a couple people that are very familiar on the hit scan, and, you know, obviously in 5 seconds, we'll see what they're kind of testing the waters with, a little preview of what we're going to see, and very similar looks, actually. The only difference perhaps right now is you see Salty over the Junker Queen. They might keep it. I don't know. Some teams try some pretty crazy stuff here, and while Dive is particularly good here, you can make the brawl work as well, and it looks based upon like everyone at the spawn doors. I don't think we're getting any swaps, Biscuit.
They've been like very committed to their players. Like, we saw Thunder, Biz, Salty, and Noctis, Pascal being like basically playing the whole time. And look at these comps already, as we were talking about. There's so much variety right here. Good Boys choosing a very traditional brawl style against the Dive, which, you know, Noctis is gonna be caught out very often. They are not careful. And look at that, the first skirmish is going down in the middle. Monkey forced to use the bubble. There's so much poke, and if they are not able to deal with it consistently, they will never be able to go in. And look at that, the first times are happening.
Yeah, exactly. Taken out very quickly in the fight. The Winston is taken out. And as you can see before that Brig and the Ana sitting up top right, trying to stay with each other right now. And all it is just the Sombra trying to contest, but PGE has to get out almost very quickly. And the first cap is going to go over to Good Boys, as the rest of Amplify does have to kind of regroup real quick and set up their next dive, but we just got to get right into the next fight because PGE takes out Biz out of nowhere, and now it is a perfect chance for Amplified to start moving in, looking for the next target, and they found Noctis. Noctis is hacked right now, getting one, and that's the pick they needed right there. Good Boys are slowly starting to collapse right now, and Noctis is not going to be able to return in time to really help them here, but they're doing a relatively good job at stabilizing, trying to get as much as they can out of this point right now. Biz gets extremely low. A lot of characters on Good Boys extremely low right now, trying desperately to stay up. Salty is hacked, barely manages to stay up, but they do manage to find Buddy in the process right now. Good Boys is turning this fight back around, and it's kind of incredible to see so. Tap right now, though, does have the pulse. They do have a big ability to bring this fight back, but it looks like it's going to stabilize here a moment as Good Boys already sitting close to 50%.
The dives are so quick to happen, and if you're not careful, you're gonna end up like Noctis, getting hacked, getting jumped on, and you're dead again. This is what's gonna happen at the Pulsum. Doesn't find anyone right here, but it doesn't matter. You already have the control of the point. Your Jungle Queen is so close to Rampage and Ultimate that you have no counter against. Your Ana and Bray have to do so much, and look at that, the hack's already happening, and the EMP comes in.
Yeah, EMP, it is going to find a couple of members, Salty and not just specifically, but Salty does have the ult ready to go, and they're going to send it in. A couple members getting extremely low for Amplify, but only Tap going down thus far, and it comes down to Salty trying to get the follow-up there. Literally 1 health, and they finally got taken out. And with the 3 or 4 different ultimates thrown in, Amplify is finally going to turn this around at 83%, but Biscuit, it definitely came at a cost, and all they're going to have left right now is the Primal Rage, and Thunder's... What? Thunder? Thunder's trying to stay in this fight, trying to find a pick. They don't want to leave out of here without getting something, and this fight's just going to go back to back. They're committing full on to this and forcing Amplify off of the point. They know they only have the Primal Rage. They know they can commit onto this with the beat right now. And with Thunder having the Pulse Bomb online, you know they're hunting, looking for a target right now. PGE is forced to back out, so they have a really good chance to get the flip back over, and they do without having to take out a single person right now. They're going to rush down the Ana. They're taken out right now. Good Boys is just going to run down the rest of Amplify, and what little's left is going to try to force the way to the point, try to force that cap. They're going to try to get it. They are not going to get it, and with PGE forced back, the overtime is going to come through. It's going to be on PGE to get this touch again right now, but it's not going to happen. And without even having to win the fight, they cap the point. and then they just run down the rest of Amplify, and they're gonna take round 1.
They take like point for such a long time, and then as you were saying, an overcommit from Amplify. Like, of course, you take the points back, but you lost your rally, you lost your nano, you lost everything that you wanted to use, and you only have primal. Primal's only gonna work if you catch out one of the supports, and if the DPS are not extremely mobile to ability. But you're playing into a Sombra, you're playing into a Tracer. There's no way you're ever catching them with that primal. And then how do you get this point? On the Pascal, on the Moira, on the Tracer, just holding it down. They use Coalescence because they know that they can win it. And Good Boys are not giving a singular inch, Hunter. Like, look at their comps already. We're playing extremely aggressive again. We're committing to the Tracer for Thunder, and then a switch over to the Echo, which is very prevalent on this map. There's basically nothing that can happen. The Monkey's gonna have to jump up, soften her up with the Tesla cannon, get a bit of damage in so that they can finish her off. And it's going to be an aerial war with Amplify, getting a bit of an edge over here. With even comms, there's going to be a matchup in which a single mistake is going to end costing your life. And look at that, Tap already on 1 HP, and the teams are still not committing because there's nothing you can do about it. If you go in, you're gonna get dope, and look at that Thunder on 1 HP, and Tap goes down again.
Yep, Tap's taken out. Biz ends up winning that 1v right now. They're very close to getting this cap right now. Like you said, this dive, it is a game of who's going to strike first. This is the way these teams work. They know they're both very good at defending their backline, and right now it's just Salty trying to run down the supports that, like I said, are doing a good job of keeping each other up. And right now, Salty is going to have to back up as Amplify is going to be able to get back into this fight pretty quickly, and I don't think it's going to take them much time to get back into this fight. As right now, we see them already trying to set up for that dive. You see Doge up there sitting on the Winston, ready, looking for the right target right now, and it's Noctis who they're probably looking for right now. They're trying to set up. You see the supports up in that top left, trying to keep each other up right now, but instead Doge, they go in heavily, and they're gonna get taken out very quickly. Biz had the beam ready to go, and just like that, you lose the Winston, you can't play that comp anymore. They have to back out, and Good Boys, with that singular pick, are at 40% and counting now.
Salty's already taking space. Like, winning one fight doesn't matter because you also want power boost dead and not coming back. The Monkey's dead again, and without your Monkey, where do you go? You no longer have your jump ins, you no longer have your dives as set up as you want. That even though Tap gets a kill in return, you're gonna come back extremely quickly. And this is the opportunity that Amplify needs. Their Ana's coming back with Nano Boost, and that is going to probably get invested into the Monkey, who is gonna do so much damage to Pascal and Noctis. They have to be careful because although they have their own Nano, I don't think that's gonna go quite as they plan. And look at that, the first move already coming in.
Yep, they're gonna go right after Noctis. They realize Noctis does not have the ultimate yet right now, and they're not gonna use the Nano to save Noctis, so it's not Pascal, the only healer left alive, trying to stay up to the best of their ability, but they're taken out as well. And with both supports gone, it's gonna be a slow but steady burn away as Good Boys have to either try to get out or die in the point, get as much percentage as they can, but they are gonna get that 86% before the rest of them are taken out. And now Amplify is sitting on 2 ultimates still. They did use 3 different ultimates during that big fight. Meanwhile, Good Boys is going to be coming up on 3, and lucky for them, it happens to be both of their support ultimates.
They have the 3 most important ultimates right now. That Primal Rage is going to be so important that they got body and power boost. And PG, look at that, already forced to recall, and the first fight is over so quickly. Hunter, Tap, and PGE getting everything on the map. I want my Echo and I want my support line dead, but Salty getting something in return as well.
Yeah, Salty is going to get Tap, but that's not going to do a significant much. Tap is going to be able to get back into the fight pretty quickly before Good Boys is going to be able to get here, so we're likely going to roll very quickly into this next fight as they're going to try to force out the Winston here in a moment. You see the poke coming through. Biz trying to find a little something. You know that copy is going to be going over on the Winston right now. Salty is going to send in the Primal Rage. They are going to manage to get both supports. Salty popping up here, doing fantastic on the Primal Rage, and they managed to finish off the other Winston as well. That is a great Primal Rage, but at the same time, they did end up using both support ultimates during that fight, but it might not matter a whole lot as Amplify has to be able to try to touch this point with so little left in the tank, but they do get that touch online. PGE manages to get it right now. They do have that copy in Primal Rage. Those are the big keys to this fight right now. Tap is going to have to try to copy Salty right now. Stick is going to come out. They are going to manage to be able to finish Buddy off of it. Both supports are gone already, and now they pull out the ultimates, and they just don't have the damage to pull this back now. You can see them trying to push Pascal off the edge. Pascal does get taken off the edge, but again, the damage is just not going to be enough. And there they go into the hole. Tap the only person remaining, and they just cannot stay alive as Good Boys is going to go 2-0 and take Ilios.
That is Good Boys just pulling fights out of nowhere, in my opinion. Biz, Pascal have so much impact right now, and the Monkey, Salty, with a singular Primal Rage, an ultimate that you otherwise think it's not as valuable. Look at that, just jumping on the backline, and what do you do against 1000 HP when it's not only Salty, but the Tracer diving your backline? Like, they try to commit for the backline trade right here, because sometimes you want to commit to protecting yours, sometimes you want to trade it, but there's nothing you can do about it because they have rally and there's so much sustain. The Ana amplifies their heals, and then what do? There's armor, there's stuns, there's whip shots, and they're just not letting you set up your game ever. Good Boys are just showing how dominant they are on this map. But Amplify also had a couple of really good plays in there. First map, I do think it's a little bit like problems with ult economy, which really screwed them over for the first point. But in the second one, they looked so competitive until Salty jumped on the backline, roared, and then there was nothing. And then it's a 5v3, and then you have to retake a point, but your supports are getting dove. What do you do about it? Good Boys showing how good they are on the Monkey Comp, just never letting off the gas pedal. They're going in. And look, Amplify are ready because they don't even take a break. They're calling for the Numbani map. And hey, Hunter, as they go into Numbani, what are some adaptations you think we'll see? What's up with that?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think the rotation is changing a whole lot. I think the comps are gonna remain relatively the same. It's just the question of, are we going to see the Echo or are we going to see the Sombra? Because I don't think you want to swap off the Brig Ana. As I said before, they're a very good pairing to have together, and I just can't see them making that swap unless they intend to switch over to a different comp entirely. Because Poke is still relatively decent when you go to first point defense on Numbani, but after that, it becomes a lot less effective due to the fact that you lose pretty much all of that high ground. And second point, while it has a good amount, it's a lot of awkward high ground, so to speak. So there's not a whole lot for them to capitalize on. So as I said, I wouldn't be shocked if there was absolutely no changes to any of these comps. So again, I think we're going to see either that Echo or the Sombra, and everything else should stay exactly the same.
I do think that the player is good enough. Like, I don't think it's all about like just switching your lineup. Like, you keep it as it is because honestly, Amplify, Good Boys, they are good as they are. Like Thunder showing so much dominance on the Tracer, like going in with the Winston, showing that they just want to play aggressive. They don't want to go back ever. And you saw it during the first point, right? They captured half of it, like on the side of Amplify, 26%, and then Thunder's just there. He just doesn't want to. He just doesn't want to return. And then you have Pascal with the coalescence, just also saying, "Hey, this is my point. Get off of it." So, Good Boys, you don't want to switch your lineup at all. These guys have so much like synergy. They know what they are doing. They're calming it, and they are pulling through with their plans each and every single time. Amplify, they're gonna choose like if they want to commit to the trading backlines, they need to do it faster and more efficiently. Because as long as Ana and Brig are alive, they are a danger to entire comp. Brig is gonna peel them forever. You have that rally that lets your team group up and have more HP, and they can just keep going and going and going because that inspiration, you no longer need to refresh it. It's always up. And Ana, one of the best supports in the game for a reason. The sleep, the nano, the antis, it just sets up too many plays. And right now, Doge has to find a way to go in and kill them faster than they've been doing. Or they could also commit to protecting their own backline. Like if they trust like that they can keep them up and win the fights off of that, they might be able to do it with Buddy, who has been showing really, really good on that gameplay as well. But into Numbani, this map, a lot of variety, but I still think it's going to be dive after dive after dive. That first point has so many high grounds. There's so many places where you can rotate, and the monkey's present every time for a singular reason. But I do think that Amplify has a chance. Like, if they are choosing Numbani, it's because of something.
Yeah, exactly. And if we want to kind of look at like the history, because both of these teams played Numbani yesterday during their own matches, and lo and behold, neither team was able to win Numbani at all. The major difference, though, is that Good Boys got full held. Meanwhile, Amplify, on both occasions, managed to push it to at least the second checkpoint. So Amplify does kind of seem to have the edge on Numbani just by the looks of it, especially speaking as how they managed to push it all the way through against Pirates in Pajamas, which, as we said before, is one of the best looking teams so far in the Summer Series. So that's impressive in its own right. So Amplify, just as a means of what we've seen of yesterday, have a better time on this map. So I think that's why they managed to pick it over Good Boys instead of taking the gamble of going for a different map where they haven't seen Good Boys play before. So I think that's what they're aiming for here, and I think they know exactly what they want to take advantage of to be able to tie up the series.
If they have a history with being good with this map, like they know how to play it, and I do think that Numbani is gonna favor them a lot. Like again, as you were saying, Good Boys being not as confident on this one and Amplify, making it the second checkpoint is really big. Yesterday, as you were saying, Pirates in Pajamas absolutely dominating this map, but right now that it's Good Boys and Amplify, one of them doing very good and the other one not as much, there's a lot of things that could happen. But look at that, we're already locking in the mirror comp. We have your Echo, your Tracer, and Echo, they don't need a head scan to counter it. Like Salty has been doing a really good job of keeping him check, and their positioning on the side of Amplify and Good Boys, like Noctis, Pascal, Buddy, and Power Boost, they're just not letting themselves get picked off at all. So you're going to see a lot of the same things that we were talking about, a lot of dives, and whoever is getting caught out here, the monkey's going to jump on them, and they're going to call for the dive, and it's going to die immediately. So do not blink, viewers at home, because things might change around in the blink of an eye. And look at that, the first poke already coming out, PGE, getting into the backline, and Thunder already doing a lot of damage. And look at that, like the monkey doge already trying to occupy some space, but the anti denies it. And this is how it's gonna go. Very defensive and very quick.
Yeah, as you see that, PGE does manage to take out Thunder, but it's taken out almost instantly. And as you said, those dives can happen very quickly. They're just waiting for the right opportunity to go in, waiting for the right person to be out of sight with the rest of their team. And it does end up working out for them for the moment being. Amplify is very close to getting that first tick. They do manage to get it through. Right now, they're waiting to get back to full power. Right now, as Good Boys, most of their team is back and ready to go. And they seem to be ready. They're all grouped up. They're looking for that dive right now. And they're going to run down Tap. And Tap is eliminated from the fight. Meanwhile, Doge gets very low himself. Does manage to get out right now. And if I'm Amplify, I'm trying to get out with the rest of my lives intact. But Power apparently is not interested in doing that, as they die a pretty late death. And that's going to stagger them out a little bit. So they're not going to be able to commit into a full-on dive yet. And it makes me question why Amplify hasn't gotten the heck out of here yet.
Amplify just trying to hold on to this point, which is just lost already. Good Boys managed to group up immediately, but they do give up a take hunter, and that doesn't look like a lot. But look at that Thunder goes in for the stick.
That man, that's big by Thunder taking out Power. That's gonna instantly shut down their dive right now. They're gonna attempt to run down Buddy, but not quite going to be possible. But the job is going to be finished by Salty, and that pulse bomb just all it took to turn that fight into nothing.
The backline that immediately, and Good Boys looks like they want to go first hunter. They saw that if they let themselves get jumped on, it's going to be a really hard round to play, and Thunder take matters into their own hands. But look at that, they're already critical, and Amplified taking the first position in this fight. Echo trying to get a couple of pokes in mid, and we do have ultimates ready. The copy comes out.
Yeah, it's a questionable copy because Biz goes and copies the Ana, and they get taken out instantly, and they die directly afterwards. But even during that, it's kind of Good Boys that has the advantage in the fight. So even though they mess up the copy, it's still Good Boys that has the advantage, and Amplify does have to back up because both the supports are running back right now. So they potentially might be able to get back before Biz is fully positioned again, and I imagine this is going to be a very quick recontest by Amplify, especially considering they are going to have 5 ultimates, and like I said, they're going right back into it. The nail's going to get thrown onto Tap this time right now, but it's Biz going back and just then trying to destroy the backline. Buddy is taken out super early in this fight right now, but it's Doge trying to bring it back right now, trying to get in there right now. Biz, though, has taken out 2 members right now, helping make that 3 right now, but it's Tap trying to bring it back. Tap has copied the Tracer right now. They're in a 2v1 scenario, and it's Thunder managing to take out Doge. The Pulse Bomb nailing directly into the chest right now, and there's another Pulse as well, and it does force out the Primal Rage from the Winston, and it is going to force Salty to have to get out, and Salty, extremely low, does manage to get the heals, and again, not to stop you here, but I think Amplify, again, is going to jump right back into this fight. They have the means to do so. They have Brigo ready to go right now. You know they're looking for that pick. Salty, though, trying to find something in the background. Salty was 30 health, and they do manage to live. And it is going to be that anti right there that stops them from diving in immediately. Thunder is going to go down. And I think Good Boys is going to have to give it up, as after so much effort, Amplify manages to win it on that last fight.
they invest so many resources into a fight that they end up losing, but then they win thanks to the singular rally. Like the rally, as we were saying, it denies so much of that dive that the monkey wants to set up. And look at that, they don't even let me get started because Salty jumps in and Biz is getting, Doge is jumping in and Biz is getting them out. And the ults are already coming online. Look at it. Pascal, Biz already with the copy, and the copy comes up to the Ana.
Yeah, again, Biz going for the Ana. It didn't work so well the first time around, but they're trying for Deer 2. I think they're trying to build up the Nano for the Winston. I think that is the plan here, but I don't know if they're going to even get it in time. It's getting very close, and they are going to get the Nano on the Winston right now. But Paxel is already dead. The Slate comes through, but it gets woken up. That is going to be a devastating wake-up right now. His buddy's taken out. Power is isolated. They're just going to close in on him on the inside. So now the fight is kind of evened out right now, but I think for now Salty is going to have to back up, try to stay alive, as Amplify still managed to win that fight despite losing both of their supports.
There are so many things just going on and very quickly. Like ultimates, let's talk about it too, because Amplify looking very strong at this point. They have the Nano, they have the Rage, and that Rage is so strong against Pascal and Noctis. We saw it on Ilios, and it's gonna be a danger again. Tap looking for a copy here, and if they're able to set it up, the dive is gonna be so easy. Look at it, the copy is gonna come online soon, hopefully, and Doge occupying so much space.
Yeah, they're going to send in. They do get slept for a moment there, but again, they get woken up almost instantly. The copy is going to come out. There must be something about Comp and the Ana, because that's what they go for right now. They're trying to go for that Nano. They're not going to get it, and now Tap has to try to get out of no man's land right now, as Amplify is just getting ran down. Thunder manages to get the 2K, then invest the rally into that fight, and overall, it ends up being a pretty good fight for Good Boys, but now they have no ults online. The very closest thing is going to be that Pulse Bomb that's 20% away.
And they send off the fight. Look at that with a PGE pick at the end. And no more dives, and you're gonna sit down for 10 seconds to spawn. Amplify, get picked off, and right now there's no dive potential. They have another devious pulse bomb inside of Thunder, who's already looking for a lurk here, but gets stopped by Doge. Look at that. No more surprise pulses. But Amplify, they also have their own pulse and that rally, which is gonna be so impactful. They get damaged here by Buddy a little bit, but it doesn't matter. Thunder is occupying so much space, and look at that. We're looking for a pulse, but it doesn't find anything. And look at that, a power boost going in, rallying their team, and they want a fight.
Yep, it is the very last fight they're going to have right now. They have everything at it right now, but that all ends up being almost effectively useless, as now Amplify is going to have nothing online. Meanwhile, Biz gonna go for the copy again. They're gonna run down Buddy. Buddy is extremely low, and they do manage to find it as soon as Biz comes out of the copy. And now it's all tied up 4-4 right now. It's all about, can you touch the point, apparently, and it's not possible. Amplify decided the point is not necessary. We're just gonna not touch it. So Good Boys kind of gets away with a little bit of a freebie there, and Amplify doesn't even get it to second checkpoint.
A little bit of a Charlie Niner over there. Not very good. But Amplify, they just got caught up in the speed of Good Boys game. Like, they get antied on the backline. Buddy has nowhere they can go. Your Ana's dead. The power boost used their rally so early. Probably scared of, like, Thunder's pulse on, which we saw. Again, it's gonna deny so much of their advancements. There's nothing you can do about it, like, unless you rally and just kill them immediately. But using their ult so early just results in them not having resources to invest into a fight that they could have ended up winning. But Amplify, they managed to break through the first point, which, I mean, first point, I don't know how they do it. I'm a player myself sometimes, and I sometimes just don't want to play. That's hey, switch me out. I'm not playing. Good luck. But Amplify looks like they have it under control. And right now, Good Boys is gonna try and crack open what they couldn't do the other day. They couldn't get past the first point, but maybe they change history this time. And the same comp is gonna be played again. Tap PGE on the Tracer, on the Echo, and this is the power duo that you want. Doge on the Monkey, again, is gonna need to not let them play first at all, and this is a game of who takes the initiative first every singular time. So, Good Boys, good luck on this one, and we are already coming out. We're gonna look for aggressive dives, and Biz is gonna look for so much on the Echo. The Sticky Bombs comes out, finds a lot of damage, and whoever gets ultimates first. Oh, but Thunder on the Hanzo. A bit of a weird thing.
It is a bit of an unexpected change right now, but I think they were having a fun time on the Tracer, so I do question it a little bit, but we're gonna have to see it to believe it, and I do not believe it quite yet. Thunder is taken out very quickly into the fight, and that, like I said, that's gonna shut down the dive almost instantly. They're gonna try to take out Salty, but Salty's still trying to force their way through, still trying to find somewhat of an opening, but they are just gonna have to sit around and, you know, wait for Thunder to get back, who has now gone back to the Tracer.
It's so Look at that. They try to play aggressive with the Hanzo singular time, and they
Oh,
die. And hey, we're back on the Tracer. PG does not want the Hanzo again. And look at that fighting, finding a fight here on top ground, on top of high ground. Sorry. And Good Boys, they are forced out. Like they get collapsed on, but this dies immediately, and no more echo, no more dives, and your monkey's in a really bad position here.
yeah, that's devastating for them right there to lose Biz like that. And it's the rest of the supports that are going to have to try to, again, keep each other up, try to back out, and try to stay alive. And for the moment, they're going to manage that. And it's going to be a very quick recontestment from Good Boys, though. They have the people. They're ready to start pushing. This tap gets pretty low. They do manage to get really good heals from Buddy. They manage to stay up. It's a good coordinated effort as now Tap is going to send out the copy. They're going to find the Brig in that little mess right now, and it's going to work out great because the other supports are going to be kept up because of it. And Biz, while they do manage to find Buddy, they have nobody ready to follow up to help out. And that whole swamp is going to take Tap out of the copy right now. It is a mess of a fight. Finally, the Good Boys is starting to get some kind of charge onto this point right now, but it's kind of Doge telling them, nope, I don't feel like you guys need to take percentage yet. I'm good with you guys not taking percentage. And now they're going to send the primal. Yep, the rage is coming out, but he gets slept. That is a nice sleep right now, but it all depends on the damage they put out on the primal rage, which is going to be next to nothing considering that Doge is going to be able to stay alive. And the recontestment is going to happen very quickly again for Good Boys. They're looking for that opening right now. It's Biz that is just on point, out in the open by themselves, and they get taken out first again in that fight. And right now, if you're Good Boys, you need to get out of this. But instead, Noctis is going to invest the ultimate. And while they do find Doge, Salty finds directly afterwards, which completely kills the rest of the fight. But what I'm wondering is why they keep throwing ultimates into this fight, especially Amplify, who has already won the fight now. And while it is a spew of back and forth picks right now, Amplify has won this fight. It's just a matter of can they regroup in time for when Salty comes back.
Oh, there was so much investment into something that went on for forever, and look at that, the Hanzo pick on Viz. Like, Viz got absolutely melted out of copy, and Tap just punishing them for a singular attempt. And look at that, the pulse comes up, but it's not gonna find anything. Tap has copy here, and this is going in their favor. Salty immediately melted.
Yeah, immediately, there doesn't seem to be a lot of coordination on these dives right now, and that anti right there, it got 3 of them, and the rest of them got completely eliminated. And right now, Good Boys just doesn't know what to make of the situation. They're only going to have the Nano, they might get the Primal Rage, but Amplify is going to have a lot of ults on that 70% marker right now, as this is going to be coming up to final fight territory. So you literally are counting on that Nano Monkey right now.
And Good Boys has Sombra, another Switch playing Mystery Heroes over here, and you do have the Nano, which Salty has to do like a lot of work with. But Tap dies immediately. This is their chance.
That is what they needed. That's why they went that Sombra pick right now. But you have to keep Salty up. Salty has to live through this fight. They're getting so close to the Primal Rage. The Nano is going to come online, and they're going to dive that backline. They need to get these picks. They have to get them. But right now, the backline is being taken care of by Salty right now. Even though they're not getting the kills right now, it is Doge and Tap on the point that don't have any heals right now because the healers are too preoccupied. So while it is a back and forth fight, Salty slept again, woken up. There seems to be a problem with making the Winston stay asleep right now. And with as messy as a fight as it is, Amplify is the team that still has the Nano. They're going to use it on Doge, and just like that, that is going to help with the cleanup. And with only a couple people remaining from Good Boys on the point, it's just not going to be enough. Thunder trying to make magic happen, but there is no magic here. As a repeat of yesterday, Amplify is going to full hold Good Boys, and they're going to take Numbani and tie up the series.
Amplify just looking like this is their map. Like, if they're choosing it, it's because they know how to play it. And you saw it after this, right? They lose first map, and they immediately call for the Numbani. They don't even let us talk about the game because they already want to go in. And look at that power boost. What a rally. They are not letting the point be on their hands at all for a singular moment, and they get a couple of picks but nothing else. We saw that one of those fights, sorry, at the end, Amplify with power boost with Buddy. They just lived forever. They got dove. They got dove by Monkey with Nano, and they just didn't die. Power boost protecting their Ana, and the Ana keeping up break forever. Just Salty couldn't do anything about it. And this turns out to be a full hold for Amplify, looking extremely dominant. The offense side of things, it doesn't look too hot, right? But it doesn't matter. They didn't even get to the station which they pushed the payload. And I don't know, Amplify played that so perfectly. Every fight, just they died before they could do anything on the side of Good Boys. And Tab is just showing that they want to play the Echo and that they are the best Echo at it. And I just think that there's a couple of things that they could be switching. One of those is good boys. You have to choose what you're playing on DPS. Sombra, Hanzo. It looks like they were a little uncomfortable, but that Sombra pick did work at the end. They got the first pick onto Biz with the hack, with the dive. So I feel like we might end up seeing a couple of switches and not only Tracer and Echo today. But Hunter, what are you thinking?
I like you said, I do question a lot of the decision of Good Boys, who had a pretty good defense overall when they were defending the point, and it just becomes a wonder where they run out that same comp. They decide to start with the Hanzo instead, which I don't fully understand the choice. In fact, I would go as far to say I think Sombra was the correct choice. They just made it very late. They realized that they were not going to be able to take out Tap by traditional means, so they instead decided to go for the hack, and it worked for that fight. So it just makes you think, what if that would have happened on the first fight where Amplify didn't have any ultimates ready to go? They didn't have the Nano to save Tap, where they didn't have a Nano to save Doge or a Primal Rage to save each other. I think if they run that out the gate, I think their chances are a lot higher. But again, we kind of went into this knowing they weren't that good at this map. But you figured maybe they would have gotten a little something, a little more information on what they should do on this point, what went wrong the last time, but again, it doesn't seem like they learned a whole lot, and they didn't have that good of a time, as clearly Amplify had their number on this defense, and despite that C9 from earlier, it doesn't really cost them, as that full hold was honestly outstanding by them. As I said earlier, Tap was doing a ton of work on the supports. Meanwhile, it was Salty that wasn't able to do a whole lot to their own supports, and as you complimented the backline of Buddy and Power, who, as you said, I think were the MVPs of that map specifically. They did a fantastic job, and I'm I'm happy to see that kind of teamwork come through. But again, it just loops back around to, does Amplify show better synchronization than Good Boys? After we saw that first map, it looked like it was Good Boys, but now we look after that map, and now it's looking a little questionable right now, as Amplify is looking a lot better after this Numbani, and I think that confidence is definitely going to help them out here.
You can't take anything for granted, and they are absolutely showing what they can do. And Tap on the Echo. You're talking about MVPs, and I want to talk about Tap because every time Biz flew up to them and they try to copy, Tap is like, that's my ultimate. I know how to use it better. You're getting melted down, and your push is dead again. So Tap just showing an absolute mastery over the character, which not a lot of people can. It's a complex character that you need to operate to perfection, and Tap looks like he has that like lockdown as a science. I really like the way they're playing right now, and they're giving us the game that I wanted. It's a back and forward, and right now, good boys. We can stop talking about Numbani now because if you're good boys, you want to forget about it. You got full health, and it's fine because the first map you want is extremely dominant. So showing a back and forward, you get a one full cap, we get a full health. So a lot of things can happen. And right now, as we go into this next map, Escort, and it's going to be Circuit Royale, and Circuit Royale is so much different to everything we've seen. This map could go either way. It could be a poke comp, your traditional Sigma, which is extremely popular, not only for ranked, because if you're an Overwatch player, you see Sigma here every day and you get tired of it. But here, it could be dive, it could be poke, it could be anything. But what do you think, Hunter? As we go into Circuit, I think this is so much different from everything we've seen. The long sightlines just don't allow for dives most of the time. But hey, I'm just a lowly support player. You can tell me more about it.
Well, as a tank player, I'm going to sound like a pretty basic Andy when I say that both of these teams should, and I think will, run that poke comp. I think we'll see a lot of the Sigma. I think we can see a mix between any of the characters of Widow, Asher, Hanzo. Obviously, we saw that there was a little bit of familiarity with Hanzo, so I think that might come out. Asher supports, I think it's a bit of a toss-up there. Mercy's really good for that situation. You wanted to go either to Zenyatta. Maybe you can even go over to the Kiriko if you wanted a little bit more mobility. Uh, if we were to talk about a dive, it'd be a lot more questionable. It would almost have to be a scenario where the defending team would have to have a diveable character. Like if they have that Mercy or that Zen, that has to be a primary target because you're not going to be able to get an Ashe who can shoot herself away, or a Widow who can grapple away, or a Sigma that has like the rock ready to go. So I think even if a team came out on that dive, if they did not see a situation where they could perfect a dive, I think they go right over to that poke, and that's why I believe that they're not even going to waste their time, that we're just going to see the Sigma comps, and we're going to see the poke.
Yeah, I mean, Circuit is just, even if you really like the fast pace of like Tap's Echo, you like seeing like Thunder on the Tracer, this map is just too long to like even start getting set up without getting shot to death. So, as we go into Circuit, I feel like, Good Boy is just wanting to take a break from what has happened right now. The dives on their first map were so good, but then after this, they're looking just weaker. Like, of course, it's not to blame them. Like, again, you're going against a team that has practiced this map. They have it down, as I was saying, to a science. Like, they know how to play it, they know the rotations, and their supports just never died. Like, they're playing so confidently, so confidently. So now, if you're on Good Boys, you're taking them out of their element. You're putting brakes, like just slamming the brake pedal, and sending us to Circuit Royale, which is a map that is going to test your patience, it's going to test your rotations, and it's going to test a lot of mechanical aim from the side of the DPS, because this is hit scan paradise. And the map is going to start real soon, and we're going to find out if they're going to play the Sigma, which I do think is going to happen, but, this could be very volatile. And then to the later segments of the map, Hunter, we could end up seeing a brawl. We could end up seeing a dive. Like these teams have aces upon aces of under their sleeves, and the characters are locked in. And look at that double sniper, Babs and Yara. This is going to be
Oh.
an interesting match.
Yeah, and as you see, we didn't see like a swap come through as well. It's gonna be Quick out on the Sigma over here on Circuit Royale. Obviously, this is why they picked up Quick. They're a good Sigma player. They want the Sigma for this map specifically, and potentially a couple of others. So it's kind of the indication that they are going to stick on to this Sigma comp, and I don't think we're going to see a variation outside of that. I think it's going to be the same case for Amplify. As I said earlier, as the basic Andy that I am, these comps should change very little from here on out. I think the only difference potentially is maybe you switch over to a Mercy instead, or maybe you decide to go over to an Ashe instead, specifically to have the Bob, but I think it's going to come down to these DPS right now. No matter how good Quick and Doge are going to be on the Sigma, it's going to come down to Thunder and Biz versus PGE and Tap right now. Especially the PGE and Thunder 1v1 right now. As we get to see a Widow 1v1 for the first time today. The first time so far. I'm excited to see it right now. And we're going to go ahead and see who's going to get that first pick, as right now it's Poke. You're waiting for that very first pick to come out, and it's just going to be a game of clicking heads for the time being right now. Meanwhile, Amplify getting a little bit of that free distance. Good Boys did not hold on to that high ground for long, and Quick is dead very quickly into that fight, so now there's no defense left for Good Boys. They hang up to keep backing out right now. Oh, but there is no backing up for Noctis, who's headshot Tap, managing to get those couple of picks for the team so far, and right now, they're already rounding around that corner, and it's going to come down to Good Boys if they're going to attempt to recontest. But without Quick getting there in time, it's a question as to whether they're going to drop or not. They are going to drop as well. They're going to use Eat very quickly right now. And again, it's down to Tap to try to find this pick right now. They're extremely low. They do know where the Mega's at, so they do manage to stay alive. And right now, it's about defending Quick. And Thunder is the one who's going to win the first of the Widow 1v1s. And Good Boys, with that last minute touch, is going to manage to turn around this point. And Good Boys are going to try to finish off some of these selections right now, but finally, it gives them a little bit of room to breathe.
Extremely smooth sailing for the first part of the point side of Amplify. The rock comes out, doesn't find them, thankfully. And look at that, Good Boys finally manages to put a break on Amplify. Like, they get the first part of the point so easily, and there's just shots after shots after shots coming out, and they just don't manage to find their footing until now. And I'm just saying, this looked like an easy map for them at the beginning, but breaking through this last part is going to be extremely hard. You have the dragons, you have the walls, and you have almost every ultimate coming online for Good Boys, and we're looking for picks right now. There's a lot of things that need to happen. You need to see a lot of headshots. You need to see everything happen quickly, because otherwise, that Senyara ultimate and QWQ with Satchmith, which has been finally unchained for Good Boys, is gonna put out dead end. And look at that, the Dragons finds power boost and no more pushing for Amplify. Again, the game is just like this, and another headshot.
Yep, it's not over quite yet. They are going to invest the ultimate, and they found somebody in that backline there. I don't know who it quite was, but it looks like it was QWQ, who does eventually get taken out. And now the fight is evened out, which is fine and all. The problem is, though, Amplify still has the Sigma. They still have Doge. Good Boys, they got nothing right now. Right now, they have a really good chance to push into this. They're going to double down as well, and they're going to use the Transcendence in order to make sure and they confirm this fight. And right now, Good Boys is going to have to try to back up. Pascal is going to get hunted down a bit, though, but luckily there's going to be some help. So right now, first point is going to go over to Amplify, and oh no, that's a devastating pick right now. Good Boys going to have to back all the way up for this next fight.
Pascal has been grounded and he's not coming back until later. Amplify, look at that. Sigma, you don't consider him an aggressive tank until he starts walking on you and he starts throwing rocks. He starts saying that the universe is singing to him and you're up in the sky and then you're dead. So, like Amplify, they know what they're doing. They want to take space and they want to make it hard for them to even recontest, which is one of the weaknesses for the scope poke comp, but it doesn't matter because Biz already clicked on your head and PGE at risk of dying here.
Yeah, Biz getting that first pick on tap right now, and if you're Amplified, you already kind of have to sort of back out unless PEG finds something in here. They're trying to look for it, finding nothing quite yet. Good Boys, though, okay, QWQ is going to try to double down and take some people out of this fight, and they are going to manage to take down Buddy after the ultimate, but they didn't see the Dragons coming. It comes in from the side, and that's going to even things out a lot right now. Because even if Amplify doesn't have the man advantage right now, they have the Sigma advantage. And that's what's extremely important right now is Biz has just kind of forced his way back a little bit, trying to hold on to that corner right now, but it's kind of up the rest of Amplify to hold that corner, but there is no holding the corner. And just like that, that advantage is gone, and if you're Amplify, you gotta start backing out here a little bit before Good Boy starts pushing on you.
Good Boys is just already taking space from you. Like, if you don't manage to win the fights quickly, they take space and there's nothing you can do but tap, taking a pickup on this, and that means that you're in a 4v5 and they are coming back with a Gravitic Flux on the side of Amplify. And as the snipers start taking more ground, you're at more risk of getting one shot. And look at that, Buddy! The Buddy Yada hitting the lottery on Thunder. Just winning the fight almost from the beginning.
God, who needs a Widow when you have a Zenyatta? We see both of the Transcendents come out online. A lot of ultimates being thrown into this fight. In fact, full support ultimates on the side of Good Boys. Meanwhile, the Sigma ult's going to find absolutely nothing off of that. No picks found so far. It's just Alt City right now. The sites are going to come in online for Thunder. They're looking for the pick on PGE. It's still a back and forth, but right now, one pick is not going to do it for Thunder. Thunder's the only person who's trying to stay alive in this fight right now. Amplify is going to manage to win this fight.
Amplify just they're taking space so efficiently, and their ultimate is just on point. Because look at that, even though they already invested the Gravitic Flux and they don't have walls anymore, Buddy is ready with that Zenyatta ultimate, which is gonna be more than enough to counter QWQ's own Gravitic Flux. And space is already being taken. The high ground belongs to them, and they are still trucking along with that payload. PG trying to take a couple of shots here, but if they are not able to pick something quickly, they might not break through because Biz already killed their supports and Pascal kill onto tap.
Yeah, that's going to settle that fight right then and there. It's just a question of can they finish off the rest of Amplify. Doge is in an extremely bad spot, and he's just not going to be able to get out. And now they're going to try to chase down PGE. PGE is up top, doesn't have a jump left though, so it's down to if Biz can kind of find a shot. Doesn't look like they're going to, but finally, Good Boys manages to put a stop to Amplify for the time being.
Right, Biz has the Dragons online and QWQ has Gravitic Flux. But on the side of Amplify, we have every support ultimate alongside Dragons coming up in a very short amount of time. So although Amplify looking a little stuck here, they have every resource to break through. Biz in a little bit of dangerous position. The Dragons comes out immediately.
Yeah, it's a good Dragon too. It splits them up quite a bit right now, and his power boost, who is going to be taken out first, due to the Transcendence comes online. Amplify is trying to commit hard to this fight, and it's a 4v4, and QWQ trying to stay alive. They barely managed to, and it's thankful that they did, because now they're going to try to turn around this fight, and they're going to barely manage to do so, as there's just Body left on the side of Amplify. And after that complete chaotic team fight right now, Amplify is going to start coming back with the support, so maybe they can start getting just a little bit of contestment on the point.
If anything lives for a singular moment more than what they should be, the team starts winning. And we saw that on set of Good Boys. Like Sigma living forever, and they don't even let me finish because PGE clicking on Thunder's head, sending them back to the spawn. And look at that, our Gravitic Flux already.
Yeah, they're going to throw everything into this fight. They want to end this fight right here and now, but you might not be able to, and Biz takes out your Baptiste like that. It evens out the fight, and remember, Boys has the better spawn right now, so they are going to get everyone back a lot quicker right now. And so now it's kind of up to Amplify to pull back around this corner as they're getting very close to this final fight territory, and all they're going to have is the amplification matrix.
This is rough for Amplify, because any pick that you make, if they even it out, like if it's a 4v4, they start winning immediately because they don't have the speed to come back as soon as they have. But look at that, it doesn't matter. Look at it, first shot coming in and on the side of Amplify, but they even out.
Oh
Hello?
my god, that is a mess of a team fight. But the most important pick right there is PGE taking out Thunder. There's so many people gone, but it's Amplify that still has 3 people on the point. And so now it's going to come down to these DPS coming out here. And right now, they're trying to take the fight. Pascal manages to box down PGE. That is the pick they needed right now, with the Dragons that have come out over the point right now. It's down to Doge to try to stall this out, try to stay alive right now. It's Pascal who's not going to manage to stay alive, though. As with Bolsonaro taken out of the fight, Doge is going to have no healing to stay on him. And with only a couple of members left from Amplify, nobody is going to manage to touch this point. And Good Boys just barely managed to stop the full cap.
Pascal taking out PGE so early was a really bad thing for them. They are forced to get off of the Widow. They no longer have the long sidelines. They no longer have the risk of the one shot. Like that is so good for them. And Good Boys managing to put a stop onto Amplify. And I do want to say, although Amplify didn't manage to make it all the way through, that doesn't mean anything, because this map is so hard to attack sometimes, and just making it as hard as they did is more than impressive against a team of Good Boys caliber. So, don't count them out. It happens, you can shake it off. And as we go into offense, things could swing wildly. But, we take a good look at the little floaty over here, and now we take a look at the comps. Sigma, Double Sniper, the name of the game, and this is going to be, will PGE and Tap click on their heads and stop them from moving, or will Thunder and Biz get the best of them? Like, honestly, I want to talk about the tanks, I want to talk about the supports, but right now, this first point is all DPS City, Hunter.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll be completely honest, there was never a weak link on either of these teams, whether it was different sections of the different map. Every single player kind of had their moment to shine, especially Thunder, who had a lot of very important picks, and it's just, it's very unfortunate on that very last fight, but overall, they've been doing a fantastic job on the Widow, but we don't want to count out Tap either, who has also been having quite a presence, and who's had a really big presence a lot of this game so far. So right now, Amplify going to play the close game a little bit here, going to try to hold on to this corner for as long as they can. Again, same like Good Boys, neglecting to take over the high ground that's given to them, and Doge might die a very similar death to QWQ, who died earlier in this fight, pushing up far like this, but instead, it looks like Doge is going to stay alive for the moment being right now. Again, like I said, it's going to come down to these DPS looking for that first pick right now. We saw PGE having to force their way out right there, and as you see, the rest of Good Boys are going to start trying to force their way out into the open right now. Doge, the only line of defense stopping them from doing so, and it's Tap who's going to get that first kill right there. Thunder taken out, and now it leaves Amplify with a good opportunity to start pushing in here to try to push these sports back a little bit right now, and they are going to manage to do that. The rest of the Good Boys is going to fall apart. While they will try to stay alive, I don't think they're going to manage to do so. There goes Noctis and QWQ, the last one left, and Amplify manages to get a very good hold on this first fight.
But Thunder gets a big pick onto PGE, and PGE will not come back as soon as them. So this could be something good for Good Boys. Of course, right now Amplify chooses to hold S, and they can just hold this corner forever. The beginning section is so impossible for Doge to ever live through. So you just play the corner. What are they gonna do about it? There's no more long sidelines, and you have the advantage because your Sigma is right here. And ultimates are gonna stop coming into play because the Dragons are online for Tap, and we're gonna be seeing them real soon. Look at that. They find them all singular place, and the lamp saves them, but not for long enough.
Oh, that is devastating. Tap saw them all grouped up right there, and there was just nothing they could do about it. The Immortality Field kept them alive for a couple seconds, but after that, they were just taken out, and that fight is basically non-existent. It was just one Q from Tap, and that was it. So now, Good Boys, they're just getting back on the ropes right now. They're getting pushed back further and further, almost to their own spawns. Amplify just has their number at the moment. It just has to come down to either QWQ hitting a really big flux here, or Thunder having to pick it up and get rid of PGE. They've done it once already. They need to do it again, and they nearly did it there. PGE got very low. There was no follow-up, and it's PGE again taking out Thunder right now. And while it's the back and forth, it is the Amplify DPS that are managing to take over this fight right now. And after a very, very heavy investment from Good Boys, they're going to lose that fight. And Amplify right now, they are holding incredibly strong.
and the momentum is just on their side every single fight. Look at that, good boys. They invested the Matrix and they invested Flux on
Oh
tap.
no!
Oh my god, another pick onto Thunder is gonna make it so impossible for them to walk up. And QWQ already like on life support, Noctis and Pascal. Just you no longer have your Matrix, so you cannot break through with raw damage. And you only have like what Walls, Senjata, Ultimate, and then Business Dragons. But Amplify, they're coming up on their own dragons, and although they don't have the gravitic flux, they are showing that they can just afford to hold this corner forever. And the push is coming through already. Tap has the dragons, and they need to cut them out if they want to win this fight.
Yeah, and this is coming very close to this last fight territory. The dragon is going to come out again. It's going to be sent out on the other side as well. Neither is going to find anything, but is going to force out ultimates from Good Boys. They're no longer going to have that Transcendence. But who needs a Transcendence when Tap is already taken out of the fight? And Good Boys is finally getting some momentum, but they have to get a couple of these cleanup kills so that Amplify doesn't have an opportunity to touch. And with Pascal dead very quickly, that's a devastating loss to happen at this point in the fight. And it comes down right now to the headshot from Thunder, who manages to find PGE. That is the defining pick that they needed. And with no one else really coming back to touch this point besides PGE, who's decided that Bastion is the right call right now, Good Boys is going to manage to clutch up that fight on the very last opportunity.
Thunder just part of the leader of the cleanup crew on the side of Good Boys, and this is just not done cleaning them up. It's Power Boost who's gonna go down, and you don't have your main support right there who's gonna be doing most of the healing. So how do you ever push up? However, Doge is coming up with the bear. They don't want to give more than what they already have, but Good Boys on a very strict time bank. They have 2 minutes to make it through this point, and against the Gravitic Flux, which might be more than enough to shut them down. But Noctis and QWQ, they have their own ultimates as well, and this could go either way. So Amplify is ready for a fight. People already here, and look at that. The universe is singing to him, and double pick up there.
Yeah, but Tap is the one that gets picked off early during that flux, and that's a really big fight right now, and Doge is super low. That's big for Good Boys right now, and they need to chase down these kills right now. Right now, Buddy is isolated in that left room. If they just push it, they can take out Buddy, and they can 100% secure this, but it's really going to come down to, are they going to be able to get this last touch? And it might be down to Tap to get this last touch. You see them going over there. You see Doge is going to be coming out on the ball. We do see Sigma ready to go, ready to use that ultimate at any second, and they want to be able to force people off for this point, but you might not need it, but now you definitely do, as it's going to be 0.02 meters away right now. It's got to come down to QWQ. They have to try to use the ultimate here in a second if they're not able to get these finish-offs, and they are going to manage to. What is a very scrappy fight that almost went the other way. Good Boys now has 2.5 minutes, and the winner circle is getting ever closer, Biscuit.
And Buddy just fumbles that one, thinking that they can win that fight. They use Transcendence, and now they don't have their best ultimate online against QWQ's Flux, which I don't know how you're going to heal through that. Noctis has to get the best, Power Boost is going to have to get the best Immortality field in the business if they want to live through this. And they choose to take the outside. They don't go for main. They try to just take a couple of picks here, but they have high ground that the Dragon is cutting them out, and Buddy out of business. You're not here for this fight, and it's all crumbling down.
Yeah, it's devastating for them. And now without that Zenyatta, it's only going to have the heals for Power, and right now, Amplify has to come back together. They're kind of isolated on that right side. And if right now Good Boys would just push it, they might be able to get some good picks. And instead, they have to use a Transcendence because Pascal got pushed super hard right now. With Tap taken out, though, that is exactly what they needed right now. And I'm pretty sure QWQ just solo ulted Doge, sending a bit of a message is right now. They're one push away from taking this map, but they're only going to have the amplification major just do it. But Biz manages to find PGE! That's the big pick they needed, but it comes down to Tap. They had the blade ready to go. They have to stop it! Pascal manages to take them down! There is no Dragon Blade here! And Good Boys managed to bring it back, and they will take Circuit Royale.
Tap will not become the dragon till the end. Pascal is making that one very clear. They want their point, and what looked like a very bad game for Good Boys. You saw it, Hunter. They were getting pushed into the spawn, and then out of nowhere, they're already on second point. They roll through them, and then third point is just a roll. Like, no Transcendence, no nothing. QWQ just like using fluxes in front of Doge's face. They don't care. They don't need to be a World Cup class Titan to show that they can win the map. And now with that play, like with this absolutely solid teamwork, they just managed to bring this to second game. And if they win this one, I'll remind the audience, Amplify's gonna lose again, and they're gonna be 0-3 on the scoreboard. Good boys, absolutely coming back from a oh my god, I cannot even process it. They come back from an amazing map that they were losing in such convincing fashion. And Amplify, their backs are against the ropes as we go into our next map, which is, if I'm not mistaken, Push.
Yep.
So a lot of adjustments have to be made. They look like they had all of the control, and then they lose. So what happened there, Hunter?
You know what? I couldn't tell you specifically, and the best explanation that you can make up is a momentum switch, because all it takes is one pick to potentially end a fight, and we saw a very good pick near that fight that they started taking over. I believe it was Funda that got that pick onto PGE, and that ended up turning that fight over, and I think that's what finally gave them that ability to start pushing through. And with Good Boys, as we've seen so far from this series, when they got full held back on Numbani, they had no momentum. Once they picked up just a little bit of momentum over here on Circuit Royale, they took that inch and they turned it into a mile. They ran with it, and after getting to that first point, they were almost unstoppable. And it's incredible to see a team who was potentially 2 fights away from being full held, as you said, very convincingly, to be able to turn that into what was almost convincingly a wipe during the rest of those points is outstanding for Good Boys to be able to turn that around. And now they're going to have all the momentum themselves, and they're going into match point as well, as it looks like we're heading over to Coliseum. And Biscuit, I need you to pray with me for a moment, because I think we might finally be getting the Brawl comp. My wish has come true. We're just gonna have to wait and see, as Coliseum's kind of the one map where you can consistently run these Brawl comps, and Poke's only kind of decent. Dive is not very decent unless you're out here in the open. But for that first fight, I'm thinking and hoping that we're gonna see some Brawl comps.
Hold my hand for this one, Hunter, because no more dive, no more poke. Today we're getting the absolute full hand of the comps. The miracle three.
Oh,
Your
please.
brawl, your dive, and your poke. So much is gonna happen on this map. And this Amplify, if you're heading into this game, you need to play like your life depends on it, because this could be the breakthrough that they need. Oh, hello?
My heart has been ripped out and torn to pieces. No, you can't do this to me.
Oh no. Salty gets unbenched from previous map after QWQ showing the best Sigma NA, and they get on the Doomfist Arena, and this is gonna be a Tracer, Sombra. I'm just saying, buddy is not safe, and Amplify choosing to play dive as well. No more thoughts and prayers. It's just gone to
It's just
dust.
all heartbreak. That's all it is. But as you said, right now, Good Boys, I think they have a slight more advantage in this fight. While Amplify is going to have the ability to get around quicker with that dive, Good Boys is going to have the ability to capitalize better on these isolated targets. Salty, Viz, Thunda, Noctis can all go in on the same target. As you see, they're going to go for PGE. They're going to get some really good healing, and it's Salty that's going to get isolated instead. And with the Doomfist gone, you do have to back up. Good Boys is going to play from a little bit of a distance here, trying to see if maybe they can get lucky with the pick right now, but ultimately they can't start this fight until Salty gets here. But luckily the Doomfist is going to get back pretty quickly, and Biz is dead as well. So right now we're just gonna have one like non-stop long fight. Is right now Good Boys is just losing one person after another. As soon as one respawns, they lose another. It's literally a cycle right now, as right now Amplify already has 30 meters and counting with only a minute in. And right now Good Boys, they have to get something going right now, because they're just getting slaughtered. They have to regroup here.
Noct is dying, like dying twice. Sorry, once. It's just not gonna help them. Like not having your gear go, how does Salty ever get their game started? And Thunder trying to get a couple of like stall on the payload. They cannot let the bot get the checkpoint, because that's when the game just starts crashing down over and over. But Salty, look at that against the Ana. How do you ever get started? Amplify already have their own pulse bomb, and the cat comes out. Finally, Salty putting their numbers on the board. Power boost is out.
Yeah, but the problem is that they managed to get the stick on the Pascal Town, managing to find that, got the health pack as well, so this evens back up, and it still evens back up. The problem is, once again, Salty is the one taken out of the fight, and with Doge still alive, they are going to be able to get the rest of these cleanups right now. But we did see the point get taken away for a minute there. That is going to give Good Boys an opportunity here to do a quick regroup, as I think they're going to invest back into this fight pretty quickly with the Nano ready to go. And Salty looks like they're going to get aggressive with it. They want to find these picks right now, but Salty has nothing right now. They're probably going to have to use their ult potentially to escape, but luckily they have the punch, so they don't have to. Right now, good boys, they have that EMP online. They have to make advantage of it, and it's going to get sent down. Biz gets headshot! It's PGE with the 2K! And even though the EMP comes out, there's nothing left, nobody left to be able to capitalize. And it's PGE that gets the 3K, the 4K. PGE cannot be stopped right now.
Oh my god. PGE, they don't care that they are hacked. They are just rolling through with this Sojourn. So much damage, and that overclock is gonna get so much value. And Salty decides to switch into the full brawl, so I guess our prayers have been answered. And then I'm gonna say, if PGE has one fan, I'm that one fan. And look at that, they're getting dope, but the big anti, Noctis is dead, and Good Boys on the back foot again.
Yeah, that's devastating. Again, Good Boys cannot get anything going right now. And we saw the fade come out from Pascal, and Pascal has no healing. And again, it is just a slaughter thus far, even with power booster gone. Never mind. Biz trying to turn this around. Salty is going to manage to find Buddy. And this might be finally that first fight win that Good Boys needed. But the damage has been severely done already. Amplify, not only did they get that checkpoint, but they pushed a whopping 80%, or not 80%, 80 meters, which is a devastating amount to have, especially this early into the match.
The Doom, you know, the first step to playing Doomfist, you buy your H key to change hero, and then you start playing the game once you change it, because Doomfist, no value, Buddy's just not letting you play. Buster just, oh, the Nano comes in, Buddy thinks they can win this one. Oh, it's stuck a little bit? Oh no!
There's no way that wall was on purpose, but it was brilliantly done regardless. It's a good anti right now, but there's no follow-up on it right now. Good Boys has a really good chance to regroup.
Amplify has the Primal Rage. Look at it, they're going in as well.
Yep, he's waiting for the moment right now. Doge is going to be able to find this right now. It's a nice, oh, the knife is so close right now. It's just PGE trying to stay up. They are going to get slashed on eventually, and the advantage is going the way of Good Boys right now. I don't think Doge is going to invest this ultimate. I think they're just going to die on point or try to get out. No, they will invest, as a matter of fact, but it's a 3v1 right now, and I think right now Doge is trying to find either Noctis or Thunder in this situation, but they are going to have to get out as finally Good Boys is going to start racking up some meters here.
And that's what I wanted to see. Coloseo's a heavy brawl map because you just take the bot and you're never getting off of it. Doge diving in by himself, but the Junker Queen, how do you ever kill her? The big anti comes out here and it's denying a lot of space. Thunder, a lot of damage to the power boost, but they managed to get out and the fight keeps going.
Yeah, they're going to keep sending it. The Pulse Bomb, it does manage to do some damage on the Doge and eventually take him out. It's PGE. We saw how they were last time. Let's see if they can do anything with that ult again, but there's not really an opportunity this time. But trying to find the headshot, and nothing's going to come out of that. It's Good Boys. As we said before, they've taken the inch. It's time for them to try to take the mile again. As they have that freeze and beat ready to go right now, it comes down to, can they jump onto PGE? Can they force him out? The freeze is going to come through, the beat as well. Good Boys is trying to force their way into this fight, and with PGE taking out, that's exactly what they needed. Tap's going to have to recall right now as they're investing a lot into this fight. Doge is going to get nanoed right now. They're looking for somebody, but right now, Good Boys is doing a really good job sticking together, keeping those heals up right now. The shout used to be able to keep them up, and right now, the momentum, you can feel it slowly changing over right now. As right now, 40 meters right now for Good Boys. Salty manages to find Buddy. Right now, Doge is trying to escape with their life. They're going to get pushed a bit, and they're going to get taken out. That's a devastating loss. And while Tap is trying to stall things out a little bit, the Pulse does find Noctis. And while that is a devastating pick for them, Good Boys is still going to be able to rack up some meterage here as Doge is heading over to that trusty Ramatra.
There's a reason we were praying for Brawl, because that's what you play. Look at that, Good Boys, how are you ever breaking through them? You can't. Thundum the Tracers harassing your backline and they choose to back off here. They don't have their full numbers, and now that they do, they may be able to look for a fight here. They give a little bit of space to win the war. And Amplify, as they switch over the whole comp, they only have Beat and Thundum's going in for some big stickies, and the Rampage is out.
Yeah, the beat comes out to be able to stay alive right now. It's a nice stick, but Doge needs to be followed up on right now. But it's Salty who's going down first, and that is going to unfortunately start to call the end for Good Boys as they're trying to find Tap. They managed to close in. It's Buddy who they need to close on next, who has nothing to the name. They're trying to fade away, trying to get out. PGE gets devastating low. And I might be forced to eat my words right now as they're turning around this fight. Doge gets frozen right now. It's just Power and Buddy trying to stay alive, trying to get out of the situation. And they're going to manage to, for the most part right now, And the question is, can Good Boys get this checkpoint beforehand? But they're getting stalled up from up top. It's a good stall right now. They're waiting for the rest of the team to get back. PGE has made it back, and Good Boys has to find another target. All they're going to have is support ults right now. And right now, Biz is isolated right now, and they're not going to get any help right now. Is that fight has gone the way of Amplify. And if I'm Good Boys, I'm trying to get out of there and set up for the next fight.
Hey, Good Boys invested so many resources into that fight. They used the Blizzard, they used the Rampage, and now Amplify. They switched over for a minute, but that doesn't matter anymore. They have their Annihilation, an extremely strong ultimate. And the only thing you can even do about it is knock this beat, which is coming up soon. So this fight could go either way. PGE with that Blossom as well, maybe looking for a really good pick onto Noctis, which was really the only killable target during Blossom. And the fight is very scrappy, but Pascal making such a big difference here. The ultimates are starting to come out here, and look at that Coalescence again.
And they might launch the Coalescence here in a moment. Pascal's got to stay alive. They're going to use it. They're going to get low. They're getting chased down. They know Pascal does not have the fade. And Doge manages to take advantage of that right now. And it's Good Boys who have that advantage right now. They're trying to get as much push as they can on that point. And they do manage to get it back a little bit right now. But honestly, they're likely just going to die on this point. It's just Biz on there. Trying to box Doge in the 1v1, it's just not going to happen, as Amplify is going to win that fight, and they have a pretty big ult bank going into this next fight.
Pascal thought twice about using their Coalescence, and that lost them the fight. You cannot doubt about it. Like, Salty dies, and what does your team do about it? Like, you need to answer immediately. And see, look at that. They have no answers right now because Good Boys, they only have Blizzard, and Amplify has 3 ultimates online, which is going to be able to just shoot through your entire team. And the PGE coming ever closer. The first pick comes out, and here's going to be a big Blossom.
Yeah, he's looking for the Blossom, but I think maybe he holds off on it now. You have the 2 picks. Maybe PG gets taken out. Nope, it's not going to happen right now. As Amplify wins that only off of the freeze. And unfortunately, Good Boys, they use their freeze as well. So right now, we're going back into that snowball that we experienced in those first couple of minutes. Good Boys have been pushed back really hard right now. And Amplify, they still have that ult advantage.
And Good Boys are just looking like they're ever more on the back foot. Amplify, they want this map 5, and they still have 2 ultimates online, and Salty's Rampage may be coming up. So this fight, in my opinion, leaning very heavily into Amplify. They get walled off here. A lot of damage coming through, and this is last fight. They have to do something. Amplify chooses to hold S. They don't want to fight it, and a Hunter Taint, you gotta hold before this one. I don't know how this one's gonna come out.
It's coming down to the fact that while Good Boys didn't have ultimates in the fight before, they are getting a lot of these ultimates very quickly right now. They're about to have that Coalescence, but Salty is going to have to use this ult before anything. The wall is there, and it manages to stop it. They managed to find Thunder. That's 2 people down instantly, and Good Boys just doesn't have the ults ready to go. Pascal is trying to keep up Biz. It's just down to them right now, and while Biz is doing a great job of staying alive, it's only Pascal alive on the point. Amplify are going to manage to win here on Coliseum, and this, we are going to map 5.
It's another map 5, and as I was telling you, this series Contenders is just teams that are capable. These are not pushovers. Like, they may be down 0-2, but look at how they are playing. They are playing absolutely spectacular. Look at that. PGE immediate shot, just punishing you for ever thinking that you can kill them. And oh, they are so confident in what they can do. And just Amplify. I don't know. I feel like Good Boys fumbling it on the beginning, choosing a very Doom comp, a very weird Doom comp, which you're looking to dive, but how do you ever get the game started when you're getting slept, when you're getting antied, and when you're getting countered though? Like, the monkey's just more effective. And the second that they switch on to Brawl, a very big swing in momentum. So I feel like the story could have ended up differently if they had just locked it in from the beginning. But we got what we wanted. We saw what we wanted to see, and we're getting treated to a spectacular game 5 and a return to control. Which, if you're Good Boys, you're more than happy. You did a perfect game, 2-0, looking like the best team around. And now, what began as a really dominant 1-0 is a 2-2 Hunter. So, the worst thing about being a caster, you never know how these games are gonna end.
No, you never know. And kind of like as we were saying before, Amplify is a lot better at making those swaps, and that's kind of like the advantage they've had over Good Boys. Good Boys, who they came out, they kind of matched the kind of diving comps. The difference is they tried to make that Doomfist work, And before, when they played the map of Lijiang the day before, it went pretty decently well for them, but Control's a heck of a lot different than Push, and after it didn't work, it took them a while to get their footing, and as soon as they committed to that brawl, that very next fight, Amplify, they swapped over to the Reaper, they went over to the Mei, to the Ramatra, and as soon as that happened, Amplify controlled the rest of that game. Good Boys could not make it past that midway point, and that's the advantage right now that they have over this team. But I was speaking of the Doomfist. I was speaking of Lijiang. Well, guess what? They're going back to Lijiang. That is Good Boy's choice here for the map 5. So, Biscuit, I think there's a good chance that maybe we see that Doomfist come out again. But the question is do you think they're potentially discouraged from running that Doomfist again, seeing how it went here at the beginning of this match, or beginning of Coliseum against Amplify? Do you think Amplify is going to be ready for it this time? Do you think Good Boys potentially might just commit to this brawl straight out the gate? Potentially maybe a symmetric comp to go right to point, maybe run the Mei again. I think there's a variety of things, but what do you think that Good Boys is going to go for?
Good Boys, that's just. I mean, I hope that they return to the monkey, because the I'm just saying, Doomfist, cool character, really amazing. He looks cool. He's incredible. He punches. He says the funny voice line that everyone loves, but he just can't get his game started. He has no security. If he starts blocking, Buddy sees you, Buddy sleeps you. The next thing you know, you're coming back from spawn. And I feel like they might not return to a Doomfist, hopefully, because on the monkey they've been doing much, much better. Amplify is more than ready for the Doom, and I do think that Sleepy has been doing really good on the monkey at the beginning of the game. So as we go into this map, I feel like we're gonna return to the more basic dive comp. Your Echo, your Tracer, which, for example, Gardens does allow for a lot of that kind of play, and Control Center. It could go either way. A very dive heavy map. We in like community tournaments and ranked usually see a lot of brawl, a lot of like your Symmetra, your Junkrat. So it could go either way. But I think Hunter, we're going back to basics: diving, killing, and whoever gets the first pick wins. But right now, there's no time to doubt. You cannot think twice before doing, because this is the final game. And Amplify and Good Boys are gonna choose who remains. Or like if they win, the other team is just going to be still at the bottom of the leaderboard. So you really have to try for this one as we head into Lijiang Tower. So good luck to both of these games, to both of these teams. Sorry, and these have been awesome games, Hunter. Like they are not letting go of the game. Like you think they're losing, and then they start winning. Numbani, like you think they're gonna you think Good Boys is going in with a heavy advantage, and then they win. They full hold. And then in Secret Real, Good Boys is losing, and then they win out of nowhere. And then Amplify and Coliseum are just absolutely dominating on brawl, on dive, on everything. So Legion Tower could swing either way, and I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready.
Not either. And it's going to depend what map we're starting on. And oh my goodness, we're going to be starting on Control Center. This is the antithesis of what Brawl Comp is. If there's ever a map, a single map, or a single point of control where you will play Brawl, it has to be this. If I see anything besides a Ramatra, a Ryan, or a Junker Queen, I am going to be certainly disappointed. And thankfully, the Ryan has made it. The Doge Ryan is here to stay, as these comps are somewhat similar. The only difference is I don't think Dunda should stay on the Hanzo. I don't think they will stay on the Hanzo, but we'll kind of see as Biscuit, it's finally happening. They're starting on the Brawl, and I think they're going to stay on the Brawl.
Hey, production growth, a good script for this one, Map 5, you'll love to see it. But as a caster, I'm extremely happy because I want to see both of these teams play their absolute best. And as we head into Brawl, our praise and wishes have been answered yet again, and we're seeing Symmetra Mei instead of Amplify. Extremely strong composition. If Salty is ever caught in a wall, there's almost no chance for them to ever break through. And Thunder, on the Hans as you were talking, a bit of an orthodox pick, especially in this meta with, Reaper and Mei being so dominant. But if they manage to get the first pick onto Symmetra, if Symmetra ever dies on Amplify, Good Boys have nothing to worry about because there's not as much damage as before. So their win condition on Good Boys, they want to kill Symmetra. And Amplify, if they ever wall Salty, he's dying. So it could go either way.
Yep, they set up that wall right there to be able to try to catch somebody off guard. It's not too good of a wall though. Both managed to escape though, and Thunder, like we said, they're fighting for that opening pick, and they do find it on PGE right now. Doge kind of went for the chase over there onto the support, didn't manage to find it, and right now, even though it's tied up right now with Thunder being taken out, Good Boy still has a bit of advantage here. That Ramatra is still here and ready to go. And Ramacha is definitely closer to the ultimate than Doja's right now, already sitting at 70%, but that is a very good pin to get out the gate right there. And with Biz taken out, it's PGE getting the cleanup for them right now. And Good Boys only manages to amount to 16% from that first fight, and Amplify doing a really good job of taking back that point pretty quickly.
And as we were mentioning, Symmetra dies, and there's nothing you can do. So they decide to switch it up. Reaper May, Ramatra, your health bar is gonna disappear so fast, Salty. You gotta hold on. But Good Boys, they only get hit 60%, but that's a lot, and they already lost the Immortality Field. That is a big loss. 28 seconds cooldown, and when you do have Annihilation, so this fight could swing wildly, and we're going in.
Yeah, and that Shatter, it did manage to find one person. They do manage to find the follow-up as well, and it's definitely in the advantage of Good Boys right now. They have to commit to one person here, though, and they are going to eventually commit. And right now, Tap is the only one remaining. Tap is going to die here in a moment, certainly, and they're going to give up only 42%, which isn't all that bad. The problem is that Amplify, they're coming in with not only both DPS ults, but the beat on top of that.
But Amplify, look at that, Hunter. They are switching their comp every time they lose a fight. And right now it's going to be Ramatra, Moira. And Moira, I'm a big fan of her in this comp. So much sustain. Your team just never dies, and the Dragon comes here to close, to just, you know, separate them a little bit. And they're going in for the fight, even after the Dragons.
Yeah, and both the ults are going to be thrown into this. The beats both come out. They're going for the Death Blossom. They find no follow-up on that, but the follow-up is following directly after PGE is taken out. But right now, it's just two members trying to stay alive on the point right now. It's just Tap trying to stay on that point, trying to tap around. They get walled off. They manage to slip through the crack right now. As Amplify is probably going to recontest here pretty quickly now that PGE is back into this fight. And right now, Good Boys kind of having to sit back for a moment, waiting to fully regroup as the fight is going to resume very quickly. It's going to come down to, can Pascal get this ult out on time? They're at 93%. They have it so close right now. They are going to send it out. They're going to manage to keep Thunder alive as well. That's what you need to do. But right now, it's Salty survival that is coming into question right now. Very deep into the enemy lines right now. The freeze is going to come out. Nobody gets caught right now. And instead, it's Biz who's taken out first. The Coalescence comes down as they're going to try to nail this down. Amplify needs to win this fight, as we're 90 and counting right now. That clock is slowly going down, and it's Salty who's just not going to be able to stay alive. It's Amplify who throws in the right ults, and who's going to manage to clean up this fight. But Good Boys got it all the way to 95%. Meanwhile, Amplify, they put in quite a few ults into that fight.
And Amplify, following up on what I was talking about, just switching their comp immediately onto the Sojourn, which allows for a lot more range and stun that can be contested a lot more, which this could be good for them. Amplify, as we were saying, they invest a lot of ultimates, but the Blizzard is coming up online, and this might be really bad news for Good Boys, because the only ult they have is Dragons, and they wall off those. They don't want to let them in. They beat Guess invested, and there's going to be Stun the pick easily. The fight is over before it even starts.
Yeah, pretty much right there. And that's, again, I said, a very quick fight. And there's not much more to say than that. The only difference right there is if Noctis manages to live or not. They don't. So even though Tap does get taken out, it doesn't matter because Tap is going to be able to get back to the point before this fight goes on. And right now, Good Boy just has to try to get this touch.
The touch is going to be so impossible for them right now if they cannot get Noctis in. They use their Dragons already to dissuade them from contesting the early angle. And Noctis is going in. If they get a good beat, this could be a win because Amplify has no ultimates and Pascal using the window early.
Yeah, but right now you see PG going around. They're looking for the ult on the Pascal. They're looking for their shot right now. They haven't found it quite yet. And it's Thunder who's put themselves in a bad position, getting devastatingly low. They're kind of struggling to stay alive. The beat is going to come out. Nobody drops quite yet as PGE has the ult coming out. You're going to see some aggression onto them. The freeze coming online. It's a lot of ultimates, but right now it's PGE managing to get rid of Salty. And right now, Amplify is the team with the advantage right now. Good Boys used all their ultimates in that fight, and they're not even going to be able to recontest. And I don't think it would have mattered anyways. Amplify is 1 point away from taking this series.
It just came down to a fight that Amplify wins, and Good Boys doesn't have the Good Boys uses ultimates. They lose the fight, and now they have nothing to contest with. And then at the end, you're rushing to get a touch. You're rushing to just try and take the point over, but there's nothing you can do about it. And PGE more than ready to clean up your team with that overclock. Like PGE on that Sojourn, I'm their biggest fan. And as we head into this one, very different comps. Good Boys probably choosing to go Brawl. And Brawl, the objective on this comp, just don't let go of the objective. If you ever get out, that's a loss. And Amplify, they want to go for a heavy dive. Pascal is going to be the objective alongside Thunda, which, you know, not a lot of peel, not a lot you can do about it. They choose to go the right angle, no symmetrical TP, and they are already on point. Good Boys already are where they want to be, and Amplify, they need to set up here. So PGA and Tap have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and if you're Thunder right now, you want to go some out in the open, and I should say the same thing about Pascal, who's taken out very quickly, gets no, pretty much gets one-tapped by Tap right there, and just like that, 2 members of Good Boys are gone, and even though they get to the point first, it's going to amount to nothing right now, as the rest of the Good Boys are going to be picked off, even though there's going to be a bit of stall. They are going to manage to win this first fight, and I want to call into question a bit this comp from Good Boys. They went around a brawlish comp, but they didn't fully commit to this brawl. They finally are now, but again, it's that decision-making that's the issue. The comp switching too late.
It's just, if you're playing Brawl, you need to group up. You cannot let them jump on you for free. You need to burn the monkey and just make it so that PG and Tap can never have enough space to operate with. Because Tracer, that is the name of the game. If you have space, if no one's looking at you for a single time, you're dying. And Good Boys, they take the point, which is not surprising, right? They take it down, they hold it down like an anchor, and right now, Pascal with a lot of healing and Biz, look at that. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Don't let them dive, don't let them get through for free. And Amplify are gonna find themselves on the back foot, and this is going to be a really swinging moment, really good swinging moment.
Yeah, but I think momentum kind of just swung back there for a second. Biz, mate, who's very good at being able to hold down the fort right now, is taken out, and PGE does have the EMP in case they want a full commit, but I think after those 2 picks from Salty, you don't want to commit anything else into this fight, as right now Doge trying to escape with their life. They aren't going to manage to, and despite losing Biz very early in that fight, you know, Good Boys does manage to hold on to it.
That's one of the things that I do have to mention as well. When you have Lucio in these Brawl comps, the moment that Monkey jumps, his Brig and Ana are completely exposed. So you speed up the music, Biz, Thunder, Salty go on them, and although you're Brig, although you're Ana, there's nothing you can do against 3 people just gunning you down from up close. So Good Boys find themselves in a really good comp for this situation, and Amplify, they have the ultimate, so this is danger, and EMP gets used. First pick happens already.
Yeah, it's a big pick as well right now. Noctis not going to do anything, but Pascal is going to invest the ultimate. We might be entering Ultimate City here as well, as I think Good Boys might try desperately to try to hold on to this right now, but with so many low, I would prevent them from doing so, as PGE manages to find the kill on the last 2 right there, and that's going to be the rest of Good Boys cleaned up right there, but Good Boys does manage to not only get it to 79%, but they only used 1 ult during that fight.
And Amplify used 2 of their own ults. EMP absolutely massive in any dive composition. It's one of the main ultimates you want to use, and they want to farm it. Look at that Sombra trying to get a bit of poke, and the Tracer as well ready to dive. But it's Brawl. You're never killing them so easily. And Good Boys walking to point. They want to ignore Doge and just get to where they want to be. But Tap, a devious pulse bomb plant right here.
Yep, they have them ready to go. It doesn't seem like they get anybody in that initial freeze right there. And right now it's the DPS that are in a bit of a tough position right now. Thunder is going to get select out of their own ultimate. The pulse thrown by their body. The disrespect Tap takes them out. But it's Salty who not only manages to kill Doge, but now the point has slipped over to the Good Boys. Despite the fact that Amplify was doing good in that fight, and now Good Boys is fighting in that final fight territory. They have the beat. They have the Darker Queen all ready to go. Amplify, though, they have nothing. They're not going to get EMP in time right now. They're trying to force it, trying to find somebody. But right now, Noctis doesn't want to go down. They're going to use the beat to do so, and Good Boys is going to full commit on to this. And it's going to start paying off for them. Both supports being taken out of the fight.
Oh, but they took
again, Amplify gets the flip back this time right now. And now Amplify can play a little bit of the back and forth game, trying to juggle on the point, but again, they're not going to manage to. The EMP is they're looking for the targets. They're going to find one of their targets right now, but it's Doge that's taken out in this fight. That's the last person they needed to lose right now. Just going to be the Sombra, and the support's trying to come back and get this touch right now. And even if they do manage to find one, it is Good Boys who is going to clean it up. And Biscuit, we are leaving nothing on the table. We are going all the way to map 5, round 3.
We came here to play Hunter, and I could not complain a singular time. Look at that. They choose to go completely different comps, and Good Boys, you know, this may be their thing. They're locking in the Jungle Queen and they are not switching. I love the commitment. Amplified right here, choosing to also match up the Brawl. And right here, it's just going to be a matchup of, is Ramattra going to be better than the Jungle Queen? Which, in my opinion, Jungle Queen has a lot of tools to deal with Ramattra. The knife pulls him back in whenever he tries to get out. And, it's a shotgun character against a big character. He gets melted immediately, and Thunder's going to have a good time with this one. But Amplify, having Ramattra, you have Annihilation online, one of the best ultimates in the game, in my opinion. So this could swing wildly. No TPs, no more tricks. Map 5, here we go.
Yep, we're going right into this right now. Both teams trying to take control of this pillar, but there is no taking over, as that is a very quick takeout right there. PGE being taken out immediately. And sometimes that's all it takes is that one pick, as Good Boys is going to quickly dominate that fight. So they're going to get this first cap after a very quick pick, and Amplify kind of just falls apart directly afterwards.
Amplify not quite able to deal with the speed that Salty and Noctis are dealing with. Junker Queen, of course, much more damage on Ramattra, so if you cannot shut her down immediately, if that Carnage swings, someone is dying. So you have to be really careful. Good Boys sitting on really comfortable ultimate charge, and as they go through White Room, this wall is primed and ready.
Yeah, exactly, and Biz already at that 60% by the way. It's potential that they get this during this fight if they stay up long enough. And right now, they're looking for it right now. You see Doge get extremely low. They manage to stay alive right now. It's the DPS of Good Boys trying to get the push onto Doge right now. And that's a beautiful wall by Biz right there. That's the wall they needed. And again, the rest of Amplify is going to fall apart right here. And the rest of them are just going to have to force their way out right now. They're going for a chase. They are going to find PGE. And Good Boys is a team with a momentum so far. And now that freeze is already ready to go.
Good Boys is not playing around, and that Blizzard is going to show it. Blizzard is so strong into Brawl matchups, and the Coalescence War is going to happen as well. So this could swing in very wildly. It could go either way, because Amplify are already coming up with their own ultimates, and PG back on the Soldier Knight. We've seen what miracles they can do, but the fight is already coming on. And White Room rotation again, showing that Good Boys can hold this one.
Yeah, Coalescence is already online. They have that beat ready to go if they need it, but it's going to be the Freeze invested first. They're going to try to push the Ramattra out right now. Doge is going to try to full-on invest right now. It's not ahead of the back line. They're going to find one. They're going to find two off of that ult right there. That's a big cleanup for them. And even though Doge is doing quite a bit of work staying alive right now, there's nobody left. All the teammates are gone. And right now, it's Good Boys that are running away with this one right now. Amplify are completely on their heels, and they're heading into final fight territory.
Final fight territory, and there's not a lot of good deals I can give on this one, Hunter. They have Rampage on the side of Good Boys, and you only have Overclock. So PGE, you have to make a miracle happen here, or Good Boys will be the winner of this match. The wall comes in, stalling them for so long, but they do manage to touch Overclock on point.
Yeah, just barely, and the Overclock comes out. PGE is not able to find anything, and that was a big anti-nade, or not anti-nade, by the way. It's coming down right now. The last couple members of Amplify trying to stay alive, but there's nothing left for them. The support's trying to keep alive Doge, but there's nothing left for Doge right now. The last attempt coming in through the supports right now. With Power, the only one remaining. Good Boys manages to close it out, and they will take the series.
The series falls onto the top of Good Boys' hands. GG's in chat because Good Boys just played that one perfectly. Biz, Thunder are not letting you through, and they just showed how to hold down a point and never let go off of it. They are not letting you win. They are not letting you take an inch. They may have lost the rest of the maps, but they came here to play. And when it's the time for the match to end, when it's match point, last map, like. They just put their game shoes on, and they're more than ready to roll with it. Good Boys manages to take it over them in an absolutely dominant fashion in that last match. But Amplify had a lot of really good moments as well. So honestly, it just this is what Overwatch looks like. This is what good Overwatch looks like. And Good Boys managed to come out on top, breaking the 0-2 curse, sending Amplify, keeping Amplify at the bottom of the leaderboard. But that was a close match, and I don't think you can be angry if you're on any of these teams.
No, it was definitely honestly a beautiful series overall. We saw momentum shifts all over the place. And one thing I want to question really quick is, Good Boys did really good on this brawl. It makes me question why they didn't try to run this sooner back on that push map if they could play it as well as they did, especially on that last point where they were just nearly untouchable. I think Amplify only got a couple of picks throughout that entire round. It was completely one-sided in the side of Good Boys. So I just want to question a little bit why that wasn't pulled out a little bit sooner and potentially a comp that's more to their advantage. Maybe it's just the scenario of they thought they could win with the Doomfist because of how well it worked yesterday, or just potentially the fact that they were running Ilios instead of a map like Lijiang or Antarctic Peninsula, who are a lot better maps for Brawl. So I think maybe it's just a bad luck of that first map right there. And even though they do win it, it seems that this comp is something they have up their sleeve ready to go. And this is the momentum they need, Biscuit. After winning that one, they want to try to duplicate that. They want to try to tie up the record to 2-2, and they got a match coming up here in a minute right now. And why don't we take a minute and quickly talk about their next opponent?
Absolutely. You have to take a breather as well. Like it's just
True.
good maps, good games all around from good boys. I do think that the Doomfist came out on a like you have to remember when they wanted to call it Sale, Good Boys was up 2-1, so maybe a little bit of confidence. Speaking from their part, a bit of we're almost winning. Let's try it out, and it doesn't quite work, giving Amplify the game. But regardless, just absolutely beautiful series. But hey, there's no time to relax. There's no we can't breathe in this booth because our next game is already coming up, and it's going to be, as you were saying, right immediately after this one, Good Boys versus Strix. Both of these teams, very evenly matched, I would say. But hey, I think you have a lot of notes on this one, so tell me, what do you think?
Well, I'd be happy to tell you, but I'm gonna take a moment really quick as actually, no, we will talk about this really quick. We want to talk about they're having a match of their own that had just happened, and in fact, the result came through. They took on Dragon Dance in their game just now. They won 3-1 against Dragon Dance. And remember, Dragon Dance is the team that managed to beat Good Boys yesterday 3-2. So I think this might throw Strix a little higher up on that hierarchy. They're 2-1 now, so they're definitely just on paper a tougher team than either team we've seen so far. So it is more of an uphill climb. But for that moment being, we're gonna let these teams take a moment to get ready. But we're gonna go to a quick break, so don't wait because we might be in for another banger.